Good evening. Bruchim Aboim, Kvoid Arabonim, our guest speaker. Anash, Tmimim, Chassidim, Anshe Maaseh. Welcome to the Siyum Harmbam. This year is very special. It's a triple Siyum because we're making a Siyum on 3 prokim. It's a Siyum on those that are learning 1 parak, and a Siyum for those that are learning the Sefer Hamitzvos. So it's a real special Siyum. And Bashgocha Protis, the Siyum comes out on Chamisha Osir Bov, 2 Bov, tonight. Tomorrow is the Chamisha Osir B'Shvat, 2 B'Shvat. Tomorrow's the last day that we're finishing, and those that learn it, if you learn it at night, you'll finish it tonight. And everybody knows that there's a lesson that you learn out from a tree. A tree is constantly growing. It's always growing. And in the learning of the Rambam, we also have to grow. Those that are learning the Sefer Hamitzvos should start learning at least 1 parak. Those that are learning 1 parak should learn 3 prokim. Those that are learning 3 prokim should learn more biyun. That's what the Rebbe wanted. So b'meile, Hashgacha Protis, that the Siyum is coming out tonight, and also that we're making the Siyum Mamush Boy B'Yoim Kirtzoin of the Rebbe's holy wish. We'll begin. We want to have that. We should have Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah. So we daven Ma'ariv. We'll ask Achoshevi and Geman, Rav Shmuel Zalmanov, to come say the Rebbe's kapitel.
שיר המיילס לדוד לולי אדוני שואלון ימנו ישראל לולי אדוני שואלון בקום עלינו אדום אזי חיים בלון וחריס אפום בונו אזי המים שטפונו נחלוב על נפשנו אזי עובר נפשנו המים הזדיינים ברוך אדוני שלא נסוננו טרף לשניים נפשנו כציפר נמלוטו מפח יקשים הפח נשבר ואנחנו נמלוטנו עזרנו בשם אדוני עשה שמיים ואורץ שיר המיילס הביתכם באדוני כהרץ דרבצנס קפיטל שיר המיילס הביתכם באדוני כהרץ ציין לאימת לאלום ישב שליים הורים סוביב לו ואדוני סוביב לעמי מעטו ועדי לו כלי ינוח שבט הורשה על גר לצדיקים למען ישלחו הצדיקים באבלוסו ידיהם היטיבו אדינו לטבים ולשור בליבי סום והמעטים על כלכלי סום יליכם אדינוי פעליהו ונשולם על ישראל.
There should be Taka Sholem Al Yisroel. Poiskin Bidvar Malchus will begin with a video of the Rebbe, the one who was Mesakin, the learning of the Rambam, and the Seder of the learning of the Rambam, and the one who was Mesakin, when the Rebbe was Mesakin to learn the Rambam, at the same time he said that we should make a Siyum on the Achag Siyum on the Rambam. So maybe this that we're all gathered here tonight is also a chelik of the Rotzen of the Rebbe to make a Siyum. So we'll begin with a video of the Rebbe.
Writes that he authored his Code of Jewish Law, the Mishnah Torah, to make all Torah law accessible to every Jew, small and great alike. In the spring of 1984, the Rebbe launched a campaign for the daily study of Mishnah Torah. The first study cycle was completed in time for Maimonides' birthday the following year. A month later, the Rebbe was still talking about the momentous event. Like Maimonides before him, The Rebbe refused to allow even one Jew to be left out.
Schaas men lernt sich a Schir, a Pila Schir, kakot mit Katnis an sich. Lernt den Schaat und sucht mit der Nacht werden, a Basic und a Lehre, die Loh, die Israel, Kalis mit. Deutsch stopp den Rambam, wie sie Deutsch stopp a Kotten, die sind kakot mit der Rambam schwarz, die sind alle die Rotzen von Rambam. Und der Rambam holt dämmelt am Nord, und den Worten an Wege werden gefinzert, wo sie zugekommen, noch ein Jid, was lernen sie los. Wo in Dämmel sorgt die Leute nicht, als ich sehe so, David im Verkehr. Konnten, sagt in den Loschen Rambam, ich soll Dämmel passen, noch bepasst. Als ich sehe so, und den Rambam, in David im Verkehr, gefinzert in Kutzler. Der Rambam, die finzert hier, so, unentweiht, Bishas lernt den Rambam, wo soll sich finden, ist der Sinn Halocha auf die also der Dämmel, der Rambam ist sich sehr so, wo das ist verbunden mit den vielen Verfolgen des Gesetzes Akashi. Ist David der Kerner, der Nebel wird erschienen und hat nur in den Navi, und das wird durch das Verseihen David, wird erschienen in den Navi, was uns verseihen. Was der Schiene per bechol hagische Beine. Betel, Schaße wird der Schiene in den Schienen von den Navi. Und der Emischer Schaße dort aber gut, an Leben mit Kalisi Bose und an Achter Schiene in den Leben. Wer nicht die Schiene in der Leben, was sie findet, so beherzigt möglich zu Leben. Amir ist also, der Emischer sagt, verschaffen, Asami Tfun, am Megita Schock, den Abel Wesen noch in Schiene, dieser noch in das Mispasche kontradiert nur als Seid Kogoi, als Seid Sebasch. Und nicht mehr im Sadamet, als Seid der Rebische der Schatten Terror, lieber als Sefseser Davis gekämpft und das Sefseser von den Rambam tut das so bechol avimische Leben. Der Tosurgiton oder der Kosmos oder oder die Amok in dem Land. Wir kommen zu dem, dass wir aber suchen wieder. A viele Schulenisch mal wieder. Also wenn sein dann noch ein, also wenn den Rambam oder Lesen sein, in seinem Leben der Rambam, ich sehe jetzt, und er hat in Jahren, das ist einfach 2 Wochen nicht mehr. Eisen, Simcha, ich mache schon Tee. Allah, das kann man, wie kann man das sehen, in Kol, Arad und Kuhl, wo das die Kinder kommt, den schon auf der Kuhl. Also ich schreibe daran, selbst in der Pashtus und der Chatel, als das Werde von der Wust als zweiten Lieden, Pilkos Berna so, der Zehnten, was mit der Stühle, wird das Amisch und das Sos, wo sie beten, wo wussten, bis wann der Wesen der Herde, in Liebe der Rambam, oder im Chabischen Liebe der Rambam, bis wann der Werber am Ende zu heulen, das spielt noch in der Ruse. Okay, wenn du über Liebe heilig bin, wo Somis sich sage, das ist die Tasche, an der Nacht der Tummel, an der Nacht des Siyum Harmbam morgen, oder übermorgen. Der Kalisi ist gleich mit der Herz, wenn du Tummel, wenn du so noch, weil das was bis aber das nicht muss. Was ist der Tummel, bei mehr Schienen, wenn du was weißt, vielleicht das Scheibe, was das Scheibe ist. Die Frage noch an diesen Augen, aber kennst du gesagt, jede Sache, was Herz und wie es ist eine sichere Sache, was das Scheibe ist. Und der Pari kommen und die, was lesen, sie beschäftigt, ja, Stott oder Stadt oder Chug oder Pesach Knesset, der Kalitze, der muss sich nicht mit Starr, nicht die Macht allein lassen oder Kopf ohne gestartet werden, in Nassim, Randa. In der zweiten Ort, ich freue noch in der Emes mit dem die Achse mit allen 15 Geschehnissen, was wir rechnen sehen, am so nachher Kolpon Lassi nicht. Und ich diese so bleiben sicher und das Geld, ich sehe die da bei jeder Ziel, dieser Ball im Wollet und so lebst, den bis am Ende fließt durch, es legen Wollet und so lebst nicht Tüfter. In der Bodensalar, in der Sobesalar, in der Karte, in der Karte, in Bulle, die weiß, was wir tun. Es gibt daher, wir sollen tun, wir lernen in der Sache Weg, das soll sein Gläubig. Wir sollen das aufdrücken, wir passen sein, das zwischen die, was das wir starten werden in die Siyum, wir leben dann sehen, das bringt die Kohle, das Beste. Wir können beweisen, der Balapost, der Flussheim oder die Kinder, als sollte der Stil und der die Sache der Linie machen sowieso. Und wo soll der Sunabdruck, der Topfladruck, der Fuhradruck, der Kalitzdruck, wo das nicht Kalitzdruck von Geschmack. Ich habe mir lernen mit Blake Weiß, ein Dignität, das nicht allinische Lehmschmal, der Lord wird das Journalist und ich habe weiß, der Kalitzdruck, der das Allinische nicht erwachsen. Noch heute sehe aber das Spiel die verschiedene Richtungen. Oder Pläne, oder kann das sein Dressen, und der Schädel, und das Spiel wirklich Josh. Wo der Tag kommt, die Wahl am Herzen sehr bekannt mit ihm, die dann nicht mehr geben, passen sein, Adelt-Massive, Jenner-Massive, jeder heute Schuss machen das Welt seine Erzählung allein. Und ich habe es so allein gesagt, dass Doppel Schuss, dass es jeder sich versteht, und ich habe es mit machen als Sie. Diese sichere Sache, dass die Zukunft, es ist das Ding, die Stelle und die Wandel, diese sichere Sache, dass die Zukunft in den Kirchen und die, was noch das Bestand sein Ziel, Kirche zu teilen wie in Nichtigkeit beschlagen und Kirche zu den Randen beschlagen. Wie sie der Aloche verstehen einander und bis die Frage kommen mit der Kontinent und die Kirche zu teilen, was mir selber soll, a vieles zu sein, nicht an dem ich durch täglich am Kontos und es mit Faxen sein, Kohle und Kunden, sondern kommen und ihn mit Molle sagt, dass dem ist am Ende wichtig, dass sie kommen sich zusammen, an ihn zusammen. Und Kavanossen dazu, sollte mich nicht noch, und mich nicht reicht, das soll bereichen. Aber ich habe dort in 2 Jiden, was nicht nur ihre Arbeit, ich soll lesen, die Betäler, werden bei Kosten und der Formel von der Leben. Und der Leben bei Jachschen Arbeit. Und sie wird verschrieben in der Sekunden, und ihre Arbeit ist richtig schlecht.
We'll now continue by making a siyum, and we have the schus and the honor to have the Rov of Beis Medrash Lubavitch, a Rov from Anash here in Montreal, and the Chav of the Bezdin, Rav Agon, Rav Berl HaKoyin Bell is going to make the siyum. Rav Bell.
Simcha l'gemara shel Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Amen.
Chaim l'bracha. Big Simcha, finishing Rambam again. Chaim. So, as we all know, the last 2 prakim in Mishnah Torah are about the halachas regarding Mashiach, as some of the earlier prints of the Rambam actually had Hilchos Melech HaMashiach in this particular section, and it's interesting throughout this whole section that the Rambam refers to as a Melech HaMashiach, from Malchus, and the whole Mishnah Torah is speaking about Kiyam HaMitzvos, and it comes the last two halachas, punkt in the Rambam, he speaks a little bit different sprach. He's speaking about the last two halachas, Savua, Nevi'im, Chachamim, Mesa Mashiach, but what was the desire, what was the tremendous yearning for Mashiach among the prophets and the sages? Lo kadesh yishul to kol ha'olam, v'lo kadesh yirdu b'goyim, v'lo kadesh yinasu eisam ha'amim, v'lo kadesh lecho v'lishtes v'lismeach. So they didn't do it to rule over over the whole world and to rule over the nations and to be higher than the other nations of the world, or to eat and drink and be merry. El kadesh yupnuim b'teira v'chachmasa. To be free to learn Torah and the wisdom of Torah. There should be no outside disturbances for learning Torah. And what was that point of that? So it comes back to Inyan from Hilchos Tshuva, and many places you have in Pirush Mishnayos and other sources where the Rambam speaks about this Inyan of das, of knowledge of Hashem. The beginning of Mishnah Torah is also this Inyan, but the rest of the Hilchos Mashiach, as the Rebbe brings out, is talking about the Inyan of Torah mitzvahs, the Inyan of Malchus. And then the last halacha, Beis Hazman, Lo Yeh Sham Le'Rav Le'Milchama Le'Kinu B'Tachlis. So at that time, there will be no more hunger, no more war, no jealousy or competition. Shatei B'Tiyeh Mushpas Harbe. There will be a tremendous flow of goodness. V'Kol Madonim Mitzum Ka'afar. All the sweet things, all the luxuries will be as plentiful as dust. And the entire world, it includes also, the occupation of the entire world will be solely in knowledge of Hashem. And it's very interesting, and everyone's pointed out that these last two halachas, that it seems that it's talking, at least alluding to the second stage. The Rebbe spoke about the two tekufas, the Mashiach, that the first stage, where there's no change in nature. The only difference is Shibud Malchus Bilvad will be no longer subjugated to the nations of the world. It will be able to keep all Torah mitzvahs, have the base of Mikdash, and live in Eretz Yisrael, mitzvahs, Louis, Baruch, and so on. Then there's a second stage afterwards. As a result of this, there'll be the transformation of the world into a place of miracles, still within this. It's just different to get into the Ramban here. But there'll be another stage in which there will be miracles, and that's the second stage. And if we're Zochu, we go to the first stage. The Rebbe explained it a number of occasions in the famous Sikha that the Rebbe gave out also in the Dvar Malchus. But we see over here that Le'Rav V'Lo Milchama, is that Teva, is there no more Shibud Malchus, but is there no more war? So the Rebbe once pointed out, more than once, that this is alluding already to the second stage. And therefore the Jewish people will be great sages. Gears of the Savya Teiman, and they'll know the hidden deep matters, and will be able to grasp the knowledge of our Creator according to the human capability. The world will be full of knowledge of Hashem as water covers the sea. And gives all meaning of prokim. So from this simcha should go to start straight. I'm going to go straight to the Aschala. And as we just heard down in the Sikha, that learning the Poshta Pshat Rambam to understand every halacha, to Al-Burya, and today Baruch Hashem, we've been blessed with many aids and sforim and translations and so on to be able to do this in an easier manner than walking around in the pockets and there's chayin and all different ways of doing it. So it's part of the Seirus. You have by a Siyum to learn Yasher Seis, Yasher Reis, and of course on behalf of a big Yasher Keich to Ravad, the Siyum Harmbam, English Shmuel Examinov, and should be Matzliach, and his own invention. Mazel Tov came especially. I don't know that he was a big Mazel Tov, and special Siyum Harmbam came back to Montreal over there, come to Magresen Dank. And a Seirus that comes out from stuff from Limmer Aramish, we have him with all Mishpacha and the whole Kehila and Kal Yisrael. So the Gilu Taka from Hilchos Malach HaMashiach taken from Yad Mamash.
Als je koeien graag wil, jarig jomim al mablachto, gezondheid, vredigheid, lechaim. As Rabbi Bell mentioned, that the Rambam has kol atera kula, and the Rebbe's takona was for everybody, from Noshim, Taf, Ktanim, Gdoilim, for everybody, Kakotin, Kagodl, to learn the Rambam or the Sefer Hamitzvos. As Rabbi Bell mentioned, it's also, you find today that the Rambam is translated. If somebody wants to learn Rambam, you have it in English, in Kodesh, in Yiddish, in French, probably any language, in Spanish, any language that you want to learn it, you have already the Rambam, it's Machid al Lashonis. As we mentioned, this year is a triple Siyum because it's 45 years of those that are learning 3 prokim, 15 years those that are learning 1 parak. We're going to call upon Choshev Atomim Chaim Binyamin Molansky, who's going to make a Siyum on the Sefer Hamitzvos. And at this point, I also want to wish Zayde. A lot of people that are sitting over here know how to daven because of his Zayde. He taught them how to krieg, even dafleinen, comments all. We want to wish him a refuah shalema, a refuah kreve, a richas yomim, a shalom tevis, petachas from all the kinder, including the Talmidim. You should have nachas from everybody. Tzemach, Yosef Yitzchok, Ben Lechome should have a refuah shalema. Take it from the yad.
Testing? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Is he running with his armor, Beisha Sefas Torah, Acha Shabbat, Lea, Retzel, Leimer, Shalei, Avida, Vinicha, Etzek, Yishar, Shvachas, and Shamshos, Gavin, Behu, Amr, Leis, his armor, Abba, Tachas, Asher, and Nisa, Lashay, Sifri, Leis, his armor, Led, Ishtamish, Hinim, his bar, Lachosh, Elu, Shnei, Lavin, Naziru, Mishnei, and Yunim, Chalukim, Vizeh, Shehu, Mazur, Bechri, Lazalasa, Mihashira, Gam, Kain, Etzel, Adar, Chavdus, Aval, Lasa, Kamar Shetziva Yisala Veshavle Chasa, the Nafsha Vachim Be'eru, Sanhedrin Parkei, Begoidnev, Nefesh Ba'amr, Ves Amr, Baya Machru, Ba'amru, Vesheach Nisehu, Veshuse, Veshtamash Baya, Vesparanu, Dine, Yeshes Yafas Torah, Bisha B'Kedushin.
Shekoya, short and sweet, to the point. Haskifim, the Siyum to the Haskola, even though the Haskola of learning the Rambam is only the next day, but still, the Rebbe wanted that right away, as soon as you make the Siyum, you should right away make Haskola. We'll call upon Rav Agon, Rosh Hashiva, and Yeshiva's Templet Mimim, and a Rov from Kilos Anash, and the Rov from Beis Knesset Siredas, should make the Haskola, Harav Stern.
Ezras Hashem Yisborech, dann lernen die erste Halache. Später wird mir sagen ein paar Wörter, das ist scheich zu Limud Rambam Bichlal. Die erste Halache ist, Soida, Amud HaChochma ist, לידע שיש מוצא רישו והוא ממציא כל הנמצא. בכל הנמצאים משמיים וארץ ומה שביניהם לא נמצאו אלו נעמית הסימוצוי. יש לי סתם הבסן אז אין וורט.
Rebbe gesagt hat. Und Mamsi kol nimzo, Mamsi loschen Heuwe. Das wie die Teure von der Baal Shem Tov, Loilo Hashem Baruch und Nitzo Bashamayim. Mamsi kol nimzo, loschen Heuwe. Ja. Sogar Bekitzer, also heintige Siyum, hat gesagt, dass sie die heintige Jahre der Siyum sei, Perikafot sei Gimmelpo. Schaut der Rebbe gemeint Takone, und der Rebbe das mit Dame gewinnt zu Kriyas HaToiro. Also Kriyas HaToiro, der Rambam sagt in Hilches viele. Also dort also letztendlich so 2 Minogim. Was? Was sagt ihr was? Kann ich auf Englisch. Der Rambam sagt so 2 Minogim. So da Mineg, was wir endlich die Teure jeden Jahr. Da Mineg einmal in 3 Jahren. Das ist so der Rambam. אז איך הגיע תוירה שבעל פה, אז איך דונוך הדמיין, אז דונוך הדמיין, אז רמב"ם זאת ממינג הפושוט, זה המייליק יד ניור, אז איך את לימוד הרמב"ם, התחילה, דווקא יד ניור, זה גנץ הרמב"ם, אבל זה schwer, das lernt man in 3 Jahren. In der Indien von Dimien, von dem Limud der Rambam mit Kriyas HaToiro, ich scheue rechet mit dem Mann, was mir gefühlt sagt, weil kommt doch von Parshas Beshalach. Der Indien von Kriyas HaToiro steht, aber Eichu Shloishes Yomim B'motzu Mayim. So die Gemorre, als sie Gemorre sagt, dass sie gewinnen Adnevim Shebineim, mit Tag gewinnen und sein zum 3 Tage und Teure. Das bringt der Rambam Meiche. Der Rambam sagt, Hilches viele Moshe Rabbeinu Tikkun leIsrael. Das ist nicht eine Stellsach, die Gemorre sagt Nevim, also der Rambam Moshe Rabbeinu mit Tag gewinnen. Ich doch der Nevim, sagt doch der Moshe Rabbeinu, wenn der Godel an Nevim. Und Meile, und zweit sagt doch, der Nevim wird nicht getan an Moshe Rabbeinu. Der Rambam Toile Moshe Rabbeinu. In der Rambam steht, dass wir Moshe Rabbeinu zu Tag geben. Dann sehe ich da, in Yoneinu, ich kann אפשר sagen, בדרך הדרוש, ein bisschen בדרך הדרוש, הדוזו דרמה מתוילה מוישה רבינו, שלא בדרוש על דרך וסגיוון עם תקונה von לימוד הרמב"ם. Der Rebbe hat gesagt, also Gewalt soll sein, Gewalt soll sein als Seres. Gewalt, wie ist, als einer von Medinas von Achenu Asfardim und macht der Chaluke von Rambam. Und damals, hat der Rebbe mit Taten gewähnt, und nicht nur wie sehr getan, aber macht der Chaluke, jeder einer soll lernen Chaluke von Rambam, jeder einer soll lernen den ganzen Rambam. Aber der Rebbe Gewalt soll sein als Seres Milemato. damals war der Kone. Kann ich schon mit der Chadru sagen, als sagt, wenn ich die Gemorre mit der Rambam. Die Gemorre sagt, Nevim Tikven. Der Rambam sagt, Moshe Rabbeinu Tikven. Die wollen seine Maschlim sehr, weil die Nevim sind nicht sehr geworden. Aber es wäre so Russel Tate, damals hat Moshe angenommen. Das Alter gehen durch Moshe. Der Riem von Kriyas HaTorah, so der Rambam soll nicht gehen, ich schleusche Jomim beloi Teure. Und Freude, wenn Gott ihn fragt, wir lernen doch Krishma jeden Tag. Mit Krishma, alle wissen, die Gemorre doch immer noch ist, also wir lernen Krishma in der Früh und bei Nacht, in Mekayim, Lejomush Sefer HaTorah, also mit Picho. Ab Shimon Bar Yochai, der Balte Rosse im Nosse. Is Freude für Gott, was statt Leilchu schlecht Jomim beloi Teure. Wenn Gott ihm entfört, was entfört, aber es kann sein, in Dikduk Loshna Rambam ist, Rambam so, at ihm von Kriyas HaTorah ist, was sie kriegt, Rambam sagt da, Pekit Beis. Moshe Rabbeinu Tikna Yisrael, Shir Koyim B'Torah Berabim. Dus jeder lernt Krisch mit Teire der Jochid. Da hier von Teire Berabim. Also ich denke, da können von Limud Arama alle zusammen lernen. Alle lernen. Also der Rebbe ich mit Tag gewinnt, Moshe Rabbeinu mit Tag gewinnt Teire Shebiksav, und der Rebbe mit Tag gewinnt in Teire Shebalpe, Teire Berabim. Und ausspielen, kommt doch von Jud Shvat, und doch weißt du noch, der Meimer von Bosilegani, wird sagen, in der Oizres. Also wie geht der Oizer auf Nitzochen am Milchom? Der Oizer, was ist der Oizer? Sof למעלה על הקייס, למטה על תכלס. steht in der Mamori von Beshalach, dass sie mat titzak elai ba'atik et alle Milze. Aber was ist doch Moshe Rabbeinu, der ist doch zu Moshe ba'atik et alle Milze. Es kann sein, dass der Oizer, was mir geht, Limud Arambam, das ist der Oizer, auf Nitzochen am Milchome. Was ist doch zum Sein an der Wort, welche Wort, was steht, und wir in der Sefer Kli Yoko, steht, Vachamushim olu bnei Yisrael meretz Mitzrayim. Vachamushim rasch doch Mezuyoni. Du de Kli Yoko, was ist das Aida vom Kli sein? Steht in der Teure von Parsha Beshalach, Mogen v'roimach im Yeroe, steht weiter, steht Cherev Pifir ist beyodom. Pifir ist stei Pir, der Cherev von Teire, der Cherev von Tfile, das ist der Cherev von Aid. Und davon Cherev. Chamushim sagt Chamushim ist der Pshat Chamisho Chumshe Teure. Das ist Chamushim. Mezuyonim, das ist Pshat Vabreim Pshat Mezuyonim Sheva Baim Elanticho Birches Krishma. Das auf Nitzochen am Milchome ist Chamushim, und das ist der Oizer, wo der Rebbe tun sie geben, weil Aid soll lernen Rambam, ein Jahr lernen Rambam, davon am größten des Sinas Koyach auf dem. Und die Jahren wird das geringer, es ist ein Saxforim auf dem, aber es ist ein Oizer, ein Koyach, wo der Rebbe die geben, muss in dem, wenn erzählt hat, die Milchome und so ich sein, so wie es am Moschiach Teke von Miyad Mamish. Amen.
Herr Stern, ja, the Yom Mamavachtoi. So Gvena Yosher would be a Yosher. A few years ago there was a Shir in Rambam for Barabim. As Rabbi Stern mentioned, that there's a certain strength when you're learning Barabim, so it would be a Yosher to reinstate the Shir in a daily Shir learning Rambam Barabim. It should be a Shir Barabim. L'chaim again. We have with us Choshev Gaman. I don't know how many years he's learning. He's learning 3 Prokim Rambam. I don't know how many years back he started learning, but it definitely transformed his life, and he's going to share with us a few words of inspiration. It's my honor and privilege to call Adam Spiro to the microphone and share a few words.
So the invitation said B'ishtatfus, Rabbanim, Rosh Yeshivas, Mashpim, all the Chassidim here. So what can I tell you? I was thinking about it today when I had time to actually sit down and think about what I'm going to say. I can tell you about how I started learning Rambam, and it was a good introduction by Rabbi Kramer because how I started learning Gimel Prakim as well. So, about 15 years ago, exactly 15 years ago, I was living in NDG, so fresh Bal Tshuva of a few years, and I spent a lot of time with the Shlich in NDG, Rabbi Bernath at that time. It was before I was married, so I had time on my hands, and I don't remember the details. Either I saw there was a flyer for Siyum Harmbam, or Rabbi Bernath told me there's a Siyum Harmbam. Bottom line is we came together to the Siyum Harmbam, I don't remember much about it at all. Probably looked something like this. Although it was probably a bit smaller. I think there's been a Mayan Bekodesh over the years. But, I had heard of Rambam, of course, but I had not heard of the Rebbe's Takana to learn Rambam. And the only thing I do remember about that siyum, about attending that event, being very inspired to strengthen my hiskashus through listening to the different speakers and the events of the night, and deciding I wanted to learn Rambam. So, I already had the Chayenu, which I was using for Chitas already, so I was off to the races. The Rambam was in there, Perek Echad, and so it went for some time. So, then, about 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, I was zeicha to be on the receiving end of a revealed Hashgacha Pratis. And, sometimes you have no choice, but the Eibishter tells you something, you can't say no. So I was at Yagdil Teira one night for one of the shiurim I had with Rabbi Shvat. And he mentions to me, your Yom Yoledes is coming soon, yeah? Beis Iyar, right? So yeah. He says, Siyum Harmbam falls out on Beis Iyar this year. This is 3 years ago. I say, wow, that's amazing. I was planning to be at the oil already, and there'll probably be something there, and I'll join the Siyum there. It'll be so nice. So Shochet says, maybe it's time to up your game in Rambam to start learning Gimel Prakim. So I don't remember what I responded to him, but there I was a few days later at the IL on my 42nd birthday, entering into my 43rd year. On the 42nd siyum of the Rambam, entering into the 43rd cycle of Gimel Prakim. And like I said, sometimes you can't say no to the Eibishter when he makes it so clear what's the right thing to do. So I was zeicha to report to the Rebbe that I was they're going to start learning Gimel Prakim a day. And so it was. It's been 3 years from now. And I feel very blessed and privileged to be doing it, to be with all the thousands, tens of thousands, many thousands of Yidden every day learning Rambam. So one thing people like to talk about, and it's important, that I don't want to minimize it at all, but the brachas that come from learning Rambam, those brachas are real for sure. The Rebbe said there's brachas, so there's brachas, it goes without saying. But more important than the brachas is, why do the brachas come? The brachas come because learning Rambam is discussion to the Rebbe. So it's similar to the Hayom Yom of Chaf Daled Sivan, where the Rebbe brings a letter from the Frierdiker Rebbe, responds to someone who asks, how can I have discussions to you if we've never met? So the Frierdiker Rebbe gives a few responses, but amongst them, in the last few lines, he says a key element is that person should be Mekayim the Frierdiker Rebbe's bakasha regarding saying Tillim and keeping Zmanim for learning Torah. So if Mekayim, being Mekayim the Frierdiker Rebbe is bakasha to say Tillim and having fixed time for Torah, then all the more so must be that if we're Mekayim the Rebbe's takana, then for sure that's Hiskashus to the Rebbe. Pure and simple. It's fulfilling the ratzon of the Rebbe, and that is Hiskashus. And it's in a way, the Rebbe set it up that it's in a way that anyone can do it. First of all, there are the 3 tracks. But there's something that I've noticed is that, being involved in business and law and other things for the majority of the day, not being a yeshiv ayel or being involved in those inyanim for the majority of my day, that since learning Gimel Prakim in particular, there's kind of a little bit of the ayel of my commitment to fulfilling the Rebbe's ratzon that kind of hangs over my head a little bit until the Gimel Prakim is done, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing. It's something that sticks with me throughout the day. As a matter of fact, I finished my shiurim early in the day last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, and the person was sitting next to me, and I said, I almost feel guilty that I finished my shiurim early, And I'm excited that, they're done and I don't need to think about it today. The thinking about that I need to learn, I need to finish Rambam is itself is kashrus throughout the day. And along with that, for a Baal Asik, for someone who's involved in business, who's involved in different things throughout the day, it's a way that we can have El Teira on us throughout the day. Even a simple guy, I didn't go to yeshiva, I'm not a day sefer, but there's a certain level of familiarity with Kol Torah Kuloi that's in the Rambam that I'm amazed sometimes that, it can be in an environment where people are discussing in Yanim and Torah, Halacha, Gemara, this, that, and the other, and I'm amazed that I even know what they're talking about because it's all there. It's Kol Torah Kuloi. And to me, that's the Iker, that's the Indian. We're connected to the Rebbe. So, but, I don't want to leave anyone disappointed. There are the brachas too. So, I just feel like I should mention that, about 2 weeks after I took upon myself to start learning Gimel Prakim, I got an email from a lawyer at another law firm that I hadn't spoken. I'm a lawyer, by the way. A lawyer in another law firm that I hadn't spoken to in quite a few years. He says, "Hey, can we go for lunch?" Sure, no problem. We go for lunch together, and he tells me we're looking for a lawyer with your particular expertise, and we're trying to get this guy and that guy, and it's not going anywhere, and we've been trying for years, and one thing led to another, and it turned out to be an excellent opportunity for growth in my career, in my profession, and whatever in the tzutzas I need to be mavar in the world, and by the day after, 2 days after Rosh Hashanah that year, I started as a partner at that particular firm. I'm still there today. I'm enjoying it actually much more than I have in my career till now, and all that. So I had to mention it, but again, it's not the point because saying to my wife, we can't be machalik where the brachas come from at the end of the day. This comes from Rambam, and this from Chitas, and this from Tzedakah. At the end of the day, all the brachas come from the Rebbe, and from the Eibusher's infinite kindness. And at the end of the day, what is clear is that through learning Rambam, we're blessed with discussions to the Rebbe, and we should merit the time where hakitzu v'rannu sheikh le'afar v'hu yigalein.
Thank you very much, Aaron. On that note, they just printed now there's a paper that comes out, it's called the Fabringen, it comes out once a week. And this week they just had here a little story that the legendary Shliach to California, David Reichik, he was once in Yechidus by the Rebbe, and he asked for a bracha for somebody who needed a Yeshua. So, and he told the Rebbe that the Yid needs a moifis. So the Rebbe said, tell him to learn Rambam, because Rambam is revois moifsai b'eretz Mitzrayim. So tell me he should learn Rambam. And he asked the Rebbe if he could be mefarsim this, what the Rebbe said, and the Rebbe said yes. So he was talking mefarsim, and he told people that if they need a moifis, they should start learning Rambam, and a lot of Yeshuas came out. So since it's a Fabringen, so maybe we should sing Anigen, yeah? Mechatim Mogoret, Yes Hashem Kamayim Ayom, Mechatim. Huh? Sashem Kamayim Ayom, Huh? Hey, who's this? Chaim, Chaim. We have the honor to have with us a special guest speaker and a guest verbringer following the official Siyum. There's going to be a verbringen in the next room. We have the big honor to have with us Rav Zusha winner, Rosh Yeshiva in Temple Chutmim and Rav and Ashliach in Brighton Beach. So it's my honor and privilege to call upon Rav Winner to address the Olam on the 45th Siyum Harmbam here in Montreal.
No, they put a cup over here. I guess I have to say l'chaim.
Yeah.
You know the story. The chotzi. L'chaim.
Chaim.
Shach leave it, buddy. Before Rav's Pasach B'Shmaitza, he said a Milza de B'dichasa. So there was once a Yid, an Olam Yid, and he walked into a Beis HaMedrash, a shtibel in Yerushalayim. And the shul in Yerushalayim, you have Kol Aminim. You have all types of Yidden are in these shtiblach from all over the world. Now this Yid, he was interested in Hilchas Kiddushin. And he wanted to know, where is Hilchas Kiddushin in Rambam? So he sees a literature Yid. He asks him, you learn Rambam? Of course I learn Rambam. Tell me, where's Hilchas Kiddushin in Rambam? No. Literature Bachas the Chalamda, the land, Gemara, Isha, Niknes. So Mistama, it's a Sefer Kinyan. A Sefer Kinyan, it's a Kinyan. Mistama, Hilchas Kiddushin is a Sefer Kinyan. This Yid goes, there was in the Shafar, there was Rambams, looks at Sefer Kinyan, there's no Hilchas Kiddushin. So then he sees Kiddushin, marriage. Let me ask him some more modern Yeshiva Bacha. He sees some more modern Yeshiva Bacha. Dati why you type? He says, no, I'm looking for Hilchas Kiddushin. The Yeshiva Bacha says, yeah. You learn Rambam, of course. Where's Hilchas Kiddushin? So this Yeshiva Bacha is thinking, Hilchas Kiddushin. The Stametz and Sefer Ahava. Okay? So then he looks at Sefer Ahava, it's not talking Hilchas Kiddushin. He finds him Chassidish Yid with Peyes. He says to him, where's Hilchas Kiddushin in Rambam? Chassidish Yid, Kiddushin. And he starts making with his eyes, glancing the Eigen. He says, Hilchas Kiddushin. He says, Muzan and Sefer Kiddushin. It's a Mizan and Sefer Kiddushin. And Sefer Kiddushin in the Rambam, over there, you'll find Hilchas Kiddushin. The second one is in parentheses, is Yesh Darshan, Yesh Darshan. He came to Sfardish, the guy says, Mistama, the Rambam is Sfardi. So he says, where's Hilchas Kiddushin? So the Gisa goes that he said in Hilchos Nezikin. I didn't say it. I'll call upon him. You know the rest of the story. You saw Lubavitcher Bacher, and Lubavitcher Bacher learned Rambam, and we learned Rambam Weisman, Hilchos Kedushin, is it Seder Nashim, and Hilchos Ishus. No, it's a shame that also the B'dichasa. But the emes is, there's the way the Rambam was machalik the halachas, where he put different halachas, this itself is a limud. For example, in Masechta Nida, to say the Taras and Mishnayos and Gemara, so over there, you have all the dinim of Nida. The dinim of Nida, Masechta Nida, is divided in Rambam in two svarim. You have it in Hilchos Yisodei Biyah. Over there is Hilchos Nida. And you have Hilchos Mitama Mishka V'Meishav. You have also Hilchos Nida. That's the Geya to Tumas Mishka V'Meishav. In Mishnayos, in Shas, and in Gemara, it goes together. It goes together. It's one Masechta Nida. There's one there's one Isha Nida. So then here it's Nageya to Dinei Tumah. Dinei Tumah is Nageya Isha was a Nida. She cannot make challah. She cannot eat kachim. She can't eat a korban Pesach night, because she has Tumah's Nida. She can go to the Harabayas. That's a din of Tumah. The Nacht is also a din of Isur, Asur L'Bayla. It's two different dinim. Even though in the Gemara, the Taisus points out, they overlap. The mashal by a kesem, there's no din Isur, a kesem, al davar she'ein makabel tumah. So Taisus says, why is there no din kesem, al davar she'ein makabel tumah? If this kesem is dam nidal, the it's a suffix, it should be machbar, kapar make a takana. So he says, because since the result of this kesem is going to make nida, and nida is tumah, so if the beged, or if this thing that the kesem is on is not mekabel tumah, how can you make the isha tameh? The tumah kommt from the isha. How can you make the isha tameh if the kesem is not tameh? Is them is gevarin a ganze din that there's no din Isser, because they're overlapping. So, but the emes is, the Rambam is machalik in the two different sdarim, to do different halachas. Because the emes is taka two inyanim. The Achrayim will talk about it. There's a din Isser and there's a din Tumah. And there's certain kolonim in din Isser that don't apply to din Tumah. Even though we see the Chazal and the Chachomim, when they made some takanas, did, by Kesem, for example, they did connect the two to each other. But you see we makel by nida, and that's only when I get Isra. You know, Tumah, it depends. So the way the Rambam was machalik dalach, he took Masechta Nida, don't break the places. He took Masechta Nida, one Masechta, and over there you go from Tumah to Isra to Tumah smoothly, and Lepoil he's machalik it. There's no Masechta Nida. This isn't part of Yisodei Biyah, other Yisodei Biyah. Over there he puts Hilchos Nida, several prakim. And then this is B'negei Tumas Nida. So Nida is Metama Mishka V'Meishav. So he puts that over there, and he goes into some of the dinim of Nida L'Gabe, how it's Negei to Metama Mishka V'Meishav. So the Rambam was Mechalekit in a whole new Eifin. So this is Takanagaya. Where is it written? We find similar by Dine Kashrus. Dine Kashrus is mostly in Masechta Chulin. There's also Masechta Avodah Zarah, other Masechtas in Zroim. There's some Dine Kashrus. So the Rambam took all of these in Yarnam of Kashrus and went away from the derech of Rabbi Yehuda Anossi, who was Sadam Mishnayos. Chulin is in Seder Kachim. And he made another chelik in Torah, Hilchas Macholas Asuris, from all over Shas, made a new sefer Kedusha. And he put together all Macholas Asuris, going away from the derech of Rabbi Yehuda Nossi, the derech HaShas. And what's there together with that? Hilchas Asuris Biyah. Hilchas Asuris Biyah, which is mostly, which you have, as I said before, Nida, you have it in Yevamis, you have Isurei Biyah is in Yonim of Biyah, and he put it in Sefer Kedusha. Macholas Isuris, and Isurei Biyah, Sefer Kedusha, Hilchas Shchita also. So he's Masader the Torah in an original way. Go and break the places. Now over here we learn the Toichen. We learned the Rambam was not only halacha, but also he was moed. The Rebbe said he was moed nevuchim shebechol dar v'dar. So he gave a klarkeit. What's the in of macholos isuris? What's the in of Isurei Biyah? It's kedusha. Does that mean kedusha? Like it says in Midrashim, especially Chassidish Sfarim and Musar Sfarim, the whole in of kedusha. Where do you see kedusha? Yisrael is in Isurei Biyah and macholos isuris. And in Shas, the Seder of Rabbi Yehuda and Nasi, is das nicht, herzig das nicht. And the Rambam putting it there gave us a hira of the Teichen of these two mitzvahs. When you get Ribis, here we have something interesting, which is not so much in the Rambam, but more Bahadgash and the way the Tur and Shulchan Aruch, but the Tur really made the chiluk. The Torah put Hilchas Ribis in Yeridea. In Shas, in Mishnayos and Gemara, it's in Baba Metzia. It's between Dinei Momenis. The Rambam put it in Hilchas Malav Alayva. Over there he put Hilchas Ribis. No, Hilchas Malav Alayva is about Shtaris, about Hechoches, when is there a Chocha, Eidim, and all these dinim that have to do with a Malva and a Loiva. Chiv of a Leiva, and so on, the Shibud of a Leiva. This is it. So also in those dinim, there's about a Malva and a Leiva who they made halva b'ribis. So it's dinim ominous. The Chiddush really is in the Torah. The Torah put in the Yeridea. Why did he put in the Yeridea? So there's different reasons, but one of the reasons is Mekubal, and there's a sikha from the Rebbe about this, although he doesn't talk about why the Torah put it in Yeridea, but there's a sikha by the Rebbe bringing out this nekuda from Rishonim that the Isser of Ribis, the din of Ribis, is not a din of Gezel. It's not a din of taking something from somebody else that doesn't belong to you. There's no real din of Gezel. Varaya, Mashain came dinim of Momenis. Dinim Momenis, Malva v'Leiva, the Leiva was Makabal, something he has, Mona li biyotcha, like we say in the Gemara. There's $100 of mine in your hands because I gave you a loan of $100. So Mona li biyotcha. But Beribis, so it's not that way. And there's a Rais who brings us a sikha about this from Rishonim. And in Svara, it's logical that way because it's really in Gemara, part of a Shakal V'Tanya. Gezel is a tithe, you're taking something Shalei B'Rishus. So you have my money, and I never gave permission. You owe me money, I worked for you. A person stole money. I earned money. So you're taking someone else's money that doesn't belong to you, and it's Shalei B'Rishus. By a Ribis, the Leiva wants a loan, and he gives the Ribis wholeheartedly. So where's the Avla over here? The Leivaville, the Malvaville. Where's the Avla over here? And you look at what's the difference between schirus, rent. So I have owned an apartment, and you want to use my apartment, you have to pay me money because you're using my apartment. So now you want my car, you pay me money, it's no problem. My bike, whatever I have, I'm allowed to charge you for using it. Afterwards, you're going to give me back my apartment, And the violet, during the months that you used my apartment, you're paying me money. By here, ribis, it's not mamish b'daima, but in Indian it's b'daima. I gave you $10,000. You're using it. After a year, you're giving me back $10,000. But in the meantime, you used my $10,000 just like you used my apartment. I'm the landlord, and I also gave you a loan. For the apartment that I gave you, you're paying me kasher the geld. You're using my apartment, and you're giving me $1,000 a month in rent. I don't know what the rents are here in Montreal, but New York is a disaster. Al Caponim, there's no question you're allowed to charge. So what if I give you money? So the emphasis in Svara, Taka belongs as a din of Isser. I saw a very interesting thing in the Avnei Nezer. In the Avnei Nezer, he has Shuvas with the Seder of the Shulchan Aruch. And in Chelik Yeredeya, he has also Ribis. But he calls that section Bris Achim. And I didn't understand, it gives a new name, Bris Achim. Is it from, maybe you found the Medrash, weiß ich nicht. But Bris Achim really brings out this Nekuda that it's a din of Isser. It's not a din of Moment, it's a Bris Achim. Teda said that you should do a Yid a favor, even though maybe you deserve to make money on your money, because if you take this money and invest it in a business or in a stock market, you would make money. If you take this money and lend it to a guy, you would make money. So why can't you make money in a Yid? So this mitzvah Ahavas Yisrael, that's what Pashas is the meaning of a mitzvah to be malva without ribis. It's a union of achos achim. Therefore, he puts it in Hilchos in Yeridei. The Rambam puts it in Malva V'Leva. What's the cheshbon of the Rambam? The Rambam, you see, didn't always follow what was in Shas. He didn't always follow the Seder of Rabbi Yehuda Anosi in the Chiluk and Shas. You see that, as we mentioned before? So the fact that the Rambam put in Hilchos Malva V'Leva, and also Rabbi Yehuda Anosi, why he put it above Mitzvah? Then his madgish the inyan of the nemamenis, because Saf Kal Saf, since the Torah answered it, you're not supposed to making this money. So Eino Chanami, and the Rishonim say clearly, it's not the type you're holding someone else's money, and it's common enough communities ladina. But it's a Yisr. You're taking money, but Yisr. So it's Taka Efsher Yisr Dikidin, but Saf Kal Saf it's money. So to me, that's the reason of the Rambam. Akapanim now come, and in Kam halachas, you see that you can learn from the way the Rambam was masada the halachas. Either learn pashut the gedorim of the halacha, like you say in the yeshivas, what's the gedor of the halacha, by where the Rambam put it, or it's the teichen, like we see by kedusha, it's an avoided teichen in it. Now Mashiach. So we make a scene in Hilchos Melachim. So what is it? Melech HaMashiach Osid la'amad la'hachza malchus beis David liyashna. And he brings out Kabbalas Nitch Yisrael. V'chayzerim hamishpatim b'yamav keshahayu mekayim. Makrivim karbanas eisishmitim v'yeres b'chol kachol samur v'tereh. So what is the gather of Mashiach? To be la'hachza malchus beis David. And the Kabbalas Nitch Yisrael, Chayzer Kol HaMishpatim B'Yamav. All the Mishpatim, all the Dinei HaTorah are Chayzim B'Yamav. So his tafkid is that he's going to, through him, it's going to be the Chazar. And then he goes a lot of pratim, the Perikid Aleph, and that this Likud of Mishpatim, we also had it in yesterday's Rambam, that paid a dollar. No, not paid a dollar. But you see over there also that his Indian is that what is the Indian of Melech HaMashiach to be machzir the mishpatei HaTorah the way it was. V'im yamen Melech beis David heike b'terei esi v'mitzvos k'David Aviv v'Yakov kol Yisrael leil v'chazik bitka v'lachem v'chemes Hashem hazu b'chesed Mashiach. Im asav etzlech v'nitzach kol ha'umishes v'vo v'bana ben k'dishim k'hem v'kibas nitchei yisrael zeh Mashiach. So what's Mashiach? Mashiach is somebody who's going to change the world. and he's going to machzir the Torah, the Mishpatei HaTorah. That's the job of Mashiach. That's the Indian of Mashiach. Yaakov Kol Yisrael Lelo Bal Chaz Gebit, and he's Mehekim Achom and Nitzech HaUmetz Sheshivav. That's the Indian of Mashiach. We find also a description of Mashiach in Hilchos Tshuva. Hilchos Tshuva, there's also a description of Mashiach and Yemaisa Mashiach. In Hilchos Tshuva, in the last parakim, he speaks about the schar of the mitzvahs. You have to do tshuva, person has b'chira. What's the ultimate schar? The Ma'aba, Yemaisa Mashiach. And b'toich hadvarim in Perek Tes Halacha Beis, he speaks about Yemaisa Mashiach, and he starts speaking about Mashiach. And tell me, is this the description of Mashiach that's in Hilchos Malachim? And I'm reading the Nekud HaNegel Yineinu. Nesavu Kol Yisrael Yemaisa Mashiach. Tarba Hadeya V'Hachochma V'Ha'emes. Mashiach is going to be Chochma. Molad Deyas Hashem he brings over there. Now listen closely to the tior of what's Mashiach. She'oiseh HaMelech She'yamoid Mizera David Bal Chochma Yiyeh Yoiser Mishleima. Has to be about Chochma, Yoiser Mishleima. V'Navi Godel Hu Karav L'Moshe Rabbeinu. We're talking about his Chochma. We're talking about his Nevuah. L'fich Chilamit Kol Ha'am V'Yoyra Oisem Derech Hashem V'Yovayu Kol Goyim L'Shamay. Was is Mashiach? So what do we have here? That was is Mashiach. Mashiach is Yilamed Kol Ha'am. He's going to teach Torah. We have two Mashiachs. We have Mashiach from Hilchos Tshuva or Mashiach from Hilchos Malachim. Mashiach from Hilchos Malachim is Mechames. He's going to make a campaign against the Ummais. So he's going to be the Mishpatim HaTorah are going to happen. That's the Mashiach. The Mashiach from Hilchos Tshuva is a Novi, is a Chocham Yosem Shloimeh. What is in the Mashiach? Is not the same Mashiachs. Mashiach from Hilchos Tshuva and the Mashiach from Hilchos Malachim. So the Rebbe speaks about it in the Sikha, and he says, Taka, there's two inyanim of Mashiach. And this is based already, you find it in the Torah of the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe says, so the Alter Rebbe says that the inyan of Mashiach, he's going to be Rav. And one Maimon says, Yekore Rebbe Umelech. The Alter Rebbe doesn't bring these two, Mara Makoimis and Rambam, but the Rebbe is Metavech. But the Alter Rebbe says that the inyan of Mashiach is Rav and Melech to these two halachas in the Rambam. So here you see also that the Chiluk HaMelachas, that the Rambam is Mechalek the halachas. He puts part of Hilchos of the Din of Mashiach, or the description of what's Mashiach in Hilchos Tshuva, and that brings out the Nekuda of Mashiach, Yelamed is Kol Ha'am, the Nevuah, the Dag of Nevuah of Melech Mashiach. And danach, we have the Inyan that is going to be enforce the Din HaTorah, Yaakov is Kol Yisrael, and it's Mechama Im Ha'omis. We're not going to have a break?
The reading will continue shortly. Everybody have the seats still. We have gracious schools to have the Rav Roshi of Montreal, Rav Agon, Rav Yonis Yom Advice with us, and he's going to give us Divrei Chizuk. Rav Weiss, bevakasha.
Chazal tell us when there's a Tzarvim Rabbunan that makes a Siyum, Avidna Yom Etuva Rabbunan. Kal v'chomer benoy shel kal v'chomer, when there's a huge part of Klal Yisrael that is Siyum Harmbam, Zavada Yom Etuva Rabbunan. Yom Etuva for Klal Yisrael, and a Yom Etuva b'Shamayim. A short thought, She'ula Belibi. Chazal say that when the day of reckoning is coming for each one of us, we'll be asked a few questions. Tzipisu liyeshua. Tzipisu liyeshua ve'kavatu itim latoira. Interesting that Tzipisu liyeshua is, what is the meaning of the word tzipisu? It's like looking at something from far away. Minat soifin means observing something when looking for something. But tzipisu can also be used as yearning for something, hoping for something. I can't wait that event should come. Tzipisu liyeshia. Interesting that in Yeshua Manasseh, in the Brucha of Semach Duvadav Gomayr Satzmiach, Kilishoschu kivinu kol hayoim, that's the Nusach Ari, and there's another Nusach Mitzapim liyeshua. And there's a big controversy if these two words should be added or not. Mitzapim liyeshua. The Makar is because in the Talmid Ari, the Sidr Ari, dort steht, ad der Ari Kodesh hat gesagt, man soll mechaven sein Mitzapim liyeshua. Kilshoschu kivinu kol hayoim, yechavnu mitzapim liyeshua. So that became part of the nusach too, to say mitzapim liyeshua. But mitzapim liyeshua is an integral part of the amunah. The last animamin, anichak aloi b'chol yoim sheyuvoi. But when we think a moment, what are we mitzapim for? Are we prepared for it? Do we know what's going to be requested from us when that moment comes? We say every day, Kohanim b'avodusom leviim b'duchonam yisol b'mamudam. The Kohanim have to know what to do, the Leviim have to know what to do, and we Yisrael, Bnei Yisrael, also have to know what to do. So what are you mitzapah for? Are you prepared for it? Are you aware what's going to be requested from us when that moment comes? So that's why, together with Tzipisu liyeshua, we have to say Kuvatu itim latoira. Because the only way we can really be Mitzapim liyeshua is Adila Esek HaTorah. Now, Esek HaTorah has various parts in the Torah. There's Torah Shebiksav, there's Torah Shebal Pei. The Torah Shebal Pei itself is Divrei Chazal, Mishnayos, Gemara, Halacha. Many of the parts of the Torah are not Halacha L'Maisa. Shas Bavli v'Yerushalmi is not Halacha L'Maisa. It's Pilpula D'Oraisa. On the other hand, the Chelik Shel HaTorah, what is Halacha L'Maisa, is Shulchan Aruch, Shulchan Harav, Mishnah Brura, but all those don't deal with Yemois HaMoshiach. The Chelik from the Torah, that is also Halacha L'Maisa, and also Dinim, which is on Hilchos L'Mashiach, is the Rambam. The Rambam, the same Rambam that talks about Hilchos Shabbos, Hilchos Pesach, and Hilchos Chanukah, the same Rambam deals with Avodah and Korbanos, Hilchos Korban Pesach, Hilchos Chagiga, Hilchos Shogigan, Shula HaMikdosh. So if we really want to be prepared to the Yom HaGudel V'Hanoira of Bias Mashiach Tzidkenu, we have to go together. The Tzipisu liyeshua has to go together with Kavatu Itim L'Torah. And the Kavatu Itim L'Torah, which is mainly prepares us to Yemois HaMashiach, is Limud Harambam. We know that we cannot fathom the kavunas from G'dayli Yisrael which made takonis. But maybe one of the reasons the Rebbe Zatzal is what at Masakin Grain, the Limud Harambam, because the Rebbe was the person that brought into our awareness the Mashiach Now Inyan. That a person has to be waiting every moment. B'chol yom sheyuvay, b'chol rega v'rega. And the only way we can really achieve that is by kuvatu itim l'toyre b'limud harambam. So these two inyanim go together. Tzipisu Yeshua together with kuvatu itim l'toyre ibeikar limud harambam. Shef soll helfen. A day gewaltige simcha of this call and of many kehillas called Tfutzas Yisrael. The simcha is on Ma'oyer Zan Rachman B'Shamayim, the schus von the Heilige Rambam in Mirzal Mekenet Mekayim Zan Bepoyal, the Tzipisu L'Yeshiu, es Tzemach the V'davtru Ma'ayros Atzmech V'karnoi, Torum V'Yishirasechu, Ki L'Shiasku, Kevini Kol Hayom, V'mhayru V'mayni Umay.
The Rambam is also called the Yad HaChazoke, the Vada Yiru Beroshum Rav, is Mechazik, the Inyoni Yadus in ganz Montreal, so they zu helfen vom Mechazik sein, ab bis Goyal Tzedek und noch dem Moichet. Wir haben die größten Schus, so haben das Quelle Dayin, Rav Agon, Rav Wosner, Mahane sein mit der Proverten.
Shis Khushu Rabunan Khushu Tzibber Chsidim am Shemase Nazum tak mam schnell pur weiter eine große Simche für den Simon, für den Stadtfern sicher ja Simche in Himmel sicher der Rebbe in Himmel freut sich als mis Mamschich was hat angeführt. Ich habe gesehen jetzt auf dem Zettel, als man eingerechnet ist, der 15. Mal, eingerechnet der 45. Mal. Das 15. der Pusche hat sich am Schusser. Der Schusser liegt in dem seine Sache, in der Musum. Der 15. Schirmal, das mit alles, seine Sache in der Musum, und der 15. Stadt in der Chide, als der Avrom Yitzchak wie Yankov, haben gelebt zusammen 15 Jahre. Sie haben gelebt 15 Jahre zusammen. 45 ist nach Nimu. Und gerne 45 Mal, der Tachlis von der Teure sich unzukommen, so wissen, nach Nimu, Mu schon geht schon mehr noch, so wissen, aber nach schon gehen, wie viel man getan hat man nach schon gehen. In der Gesellschaft der Haltung der Mu in der Meier, steht in der chassidisches Forum, als Meier meint der Eibisch, dann neigt an der Alef. In der Mu neigt an der Alef. Haltung der Mu, der Meier ist Baruch Hashem und solche gewähnt, da gibt es 45 Mal. Sie lernen den Rambam, das haben wir heute gesagt. Aber die Gedanke, der Limit, Rambam, Chizden, was wir lernen die Kola Teure, man weiß alles, was steht sich in allen Jungen von Teure. Nicht alles kann man keinem sein, bis der Wahl ist Kola Oisik, ist Kili wie keinem, man lernt die ganze Rambam, man kann die ganze Teure. Und sie mit Friegehef, und weiß, dass man hofft, dass man bald kennen kann, sie haben Poile, also. Aber es steht, es hat die Mann gesucht, das Limit der Rambam, das geht es hier schon mal. Aber der Jede von der Rambam haben nicht gar Suge. Das was so größte Tzadikim. Man gebeten, der Jede von der Tanua, Melun, in Schoß gehalten. Da hat sich der Jede von Rambam. Der Rambam hat gezittert, Mamsch, ich mache den Bruch, haben mit auf Tinte halten. Wenn so groß sind, kennt alle Chochmes. Aber die Jede schon mal, das ist gewähne Herr von alles. Is sagt bringen am hat nicht die Rambam, schon als gilt sich man, kurz kommen lernen Rambam. Ist das gilt sich man, sagt sie die man lernen Rambam. Nicht nur Babich hat gesagt, angeführt in die ganze Welt das Leben mit Tokoi, aber in der ganzen Welt, du, was haben wir gelernt, geholfen auf Rambam. Die ganze Teutigkeit, die Tordische, Genurig, alles der Gebote von Rambam. Ist, der Rebbe sich am Ruch, es quer, hat mal gesucht, als man sieht, hat der Rambam gesagt, hier schwamm, so ist es. Steht kalt, Shiruse, Kademes, Chachmusoi, Miskayemes. In Tome verkehrt ist eigentlich Miskayemes. In Wiener du als Sache, Miskayemes wie der Rambam. Alles ist Gebote von Rambam, alles vor dem Gebote von Rambam. Shechenurig, alles Gebote von Rambam. Meine Mittel sagen, sie gewähnen Shiruse, Kademes, Chachmusoi. Meine, mit dem, was man lernt Rambam, sagt, es gilt hier Shemaim. Also hier Shemaim, doch schon mal du, alle als Spurs, was man da haben. Da habe ich da geholfen, jetzt haben wir da Schusser, wir beten, geht beides. Alle meine beides, mein Name ist alle gute Sachen, alle Spurs. Wohnen gaan, so in der Wiege, alle Tage solche Sachen, es alle gute Spurs. In Agaf, gab der größte Simcha, den Fratik, an Abbel hat mir gebringt, dem übergedrückte Tanja, mit der Prischen, das ist eine Lange, ich schon erwähnt ein bisschen, sie machen es ein Huder, es liegt in dem Gewalt, es ist ein größtes Schier. Und der Rebbe hat es umgeheben, mit Moshem, mit wurde Chalamik, mit auf dem allein, kann man machen, Shechiyuni. Und da habe ich selben Tag, muss er solche sagen, will man, nicht mehr verlassen. Und alle geht der Spur, jeden sollen oben, geht der Schirichem, geht die Kinder. Und das ist solche sagen, sie der Bies, Mashiach, sind keine, meine.
Der Dein hat gesagt, man hat in Bohm, man legt rein der Alef hat ein Meier. Der Rebbe hat gesagt, dass in Geule, man legt rein, bringt rein der Eberste, man legt rein der Alef, bringt in die Geule, Mitzvahs war Schleim mit Bekorov Mamish. We'll now continue with our special guest speaker, our keynote speaker, our winner. We'll continue the Fabringen.
Rabbi Kramer, everything I prepared, the two Rabbanan stole it from me. The Rebbe gave out Edvar Malchus. There's one more Edvar Malchus, Kuntres that the Rebbe gave out, and Stammer in the Olam here, there's those who have it, will zeichet to makabel it, and it was a collection of 4 siches. The Rebbe was Magir. These siches were already printed in the Kutei Siches in Yiddish. In Dvarmachas they were in Lashon HaKodesh, and there were siches connected with Hilchos Malachim and the Siyum Harmbam. And the Rebbe gave this out, B'Yod HaKadosha. And one of the siches, Siyum Harmbam, he continues this theme, the theme that we started speaking before. And the Chud is a great Akasha. We're talking so much about the Siddur HaHalachas, how the Rambam was Mesader HaHalachas. The Chagav in the, I think that maybe the Frierdiker Rebbe said, the Gedenk nicht, but it's mentioned by Rebbe Seinu, certainly Chassidim said it, that the Rebbe Rashab was the Rambam of Chassidus. And the Pashas, we made this verstanden, because the Inyanim of Chassidus are very much mesuder in the Ksovin of the Rebbe Rashab. That's even this verstanden. Akaponim Benegel in Yonenu, since the Rambam, the Siddur Hadvarim, and you see that he made a new Seder. He made a new Seder in Shas. He made a new Seder had to Masada the mitzvahs, and to Masada the halachas. He went on an original, he was Machadish, went on an original derech. So it starts on a Greisa Kasha. Why is Hilchas Malachim at the end of the Yad HaChazaka? Why is it at the end? The Chura, the Chazal tell us that when Nichnasu La'aretz, when Yidden go into Eretz Yisrael, and it's Stavo b'Shlosh Mitzvahs, they were Mestava in 3 mitzvahs, Shalosh mitzvahs. Minu Melech, Mechiyas Amalek, and Binyan Beis HaBchira. So the first thing is Minu Melech. And that's not what had happened. It was Zman Shmuel. Till Zman Shmuel, there was no talk of making a Beis HaMikdash. There was Shiloi, then there was Nevi Givain, there was, to say, Ben Hashmash's Tkufas. There was no talk of Beis HaMikdash. After that, it was hundreds of years actually. Then there was a Melech. So there was a Melech, it was Mini Melech. Nach was the mitzvah of the Melech, Mechiyas Amalek. Because as they state, first Mini Melech, Nach Mechiyas Amalek, and then Beis HaBchira. Then Taka, when David became Melech, he Taka wanted to make Beis HaBchira, but they still wanted his son to do it Ben Kaimai. Akaponim, the Seder has to be Mini Melech, Mechiyas Amalek, and then Binyan Beis HaBchira. The Poel, the Rambam, has Hilchas Beis HaBchira, Sefer Havoida, Chamas Svarim before Hilchas Malachim. So Mechiyas Amalek is in Hilchas Malachim Malachim Yisayim. Okay. So Hilchas Malachim goes together with Melchamas because the Tafkid of the Melech is Melchama. But L'chura Beis HaBchira belongs after Hilchas Malachim. So the Rambam should have been Mesader, Hilchas Malachim, before Hilchas Beis HaBchira. Because the Seder, the way it says in Chazal, the Seder Advarim, and the way it was talking in our history, and the way that the halach is. So how come he made it the last thing? That's the Rebbe's kasha in that Sikha. And in that Sikha, the whole Arichas, but the Nekud and the Geil and Yenenu, to answer this kasha, the Rebbe says that the Tafkid of Mashiach is that the Mishpate Machoizri, the Mishpate HaTorah, that the Inyan of Torah is going to come back and be realized the Poel Mamash. In fact, one of the Chachas that the Rambam brings that Mashiach has to come is because there's a certain mitzvah in the Torah about Ari Miklat, that it says there's going to be Tisha Ari Miklat, and it never happened. We had Shisha Ari Miklat. So since the Torah says there's going to be such an Inyan, so that's why Mashiach has to come. And the reason for this is because the halachas of the Torah have to be in the sky. And if the halachas Av Bari Miklatu in Perek Yud Aleph, in Hilchas Malachim, Av Bari Miklatu V'im Yachal Hashem Melekechas Gulcha V'yisafta L'choid Shalosh Arim Umala Oilam L'hoya Darazeh V'lo Tziva HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'toyu Avul Divrei Nevim in Adar Tzarech Raya Shekal Sarmalei. So in other words, the Nekuda that the Rebbe explains over here is that the inyan of Melech HaMashiach and Bechlal, the inyan of Malachim, is to enforce that there should be, the halachas HaTorah should be a reality. This you see also from the Gemara tells us that Bikish Chizkiyahu Mashiach. So there was a Melech, a Tzaddik, Chizkiyahu Melech, and the Gemara says that Bikish HaKadosh Baruch Hu has Chizkiyahu Mashiach. What was the Maila of Chizkiyahu Melech? So the Gemara says, what Chizkiyahu Melech did is, for the first time, he forced Klal Yisrael to keep Dinei HaTorah, to learn Hilchas HaTorah. He put a cherev, he stuck a cherev in the ground, and he said, everyone has to learn Torah. What's going to govern this land is going to be the Mishpatei HaTorah. That's the Ina of a Melech. The Ina of a Melech is an enforcer. There's a Novi, there's a Rav. The Ina of a Melech is to make it a reality. That's the Ina of Malchus. V'amelech shiltain. Pasuk says, brought the Chassidus. V'amelech shiltain. The words of the Melech is shiltain, to rule. So what does the Melech Yisrael rule? The Melech is sitting at Kisei Hashem. He's, like it says in Derech Nesusecha, the Melech is bottled of tachas of the Eibishter, and his Indian to be the enforcer of the halachas of the Torah. So that's the Indian of Melech HaMashiach. The Indian of Melech HaMashiach is Chizkiyahu, the Eibishter wanted to make Mashiach, because he caused that all of Eretz Yisrael would be acting according to Mishpatei HaTorah, and like the Gemara says there wasn't a tinik v'tunoikis who wasn't baki b'dinei Tara. They Rabbanim, Allah Dafka, so clear, all the dinei Tumah v'Tara. It's not so negay, but it is negay in certain halachas. Over Akapanim, there wasn't a tinik v'tunoikis, over there was talking negay l'maisa. There wasn't a tinik v'tunoikis who wasn't baki b'dinei Tumah v'Tara, which are complex halachas. So what do you say? So therefore, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked Chizkiyahu Mashiach, because he was doing Mashiach Sarbat, that what? That the Mishpatei HaTorah would come back. And that's the meaning of Mashiach. And that's what the Rebbe explains in that sefer. So therefore, since the whole meaning of Mashiach is to make the halachas HaTorah a reality, the poil mamish, that the shlita on the Eretz Yisrael and Yidden, and also through them the whole world, because Melech HaMashiach is going to be fighting with the Umas. What is he going to be fighting with the Umas? Let's say the Umas want to make peace. He's fighting with the Umas. It's not just because we see today that the Arabs around Eretz Yisrael are making trouble. But it's lakov to force them to be mekabel, the Eibishter, Hashem Echad, the Shmei Echad. That is the Iyun of Mashiach. That the whole world should be a dira b'tachtein. That Basi Legani, the Pshutei, not only by Yidden, but in the whole world. That's the mechanis of Melech HaMashiach. So the Rebbe says, this is the Toich, this is the Kudah. There's a lot more over there in that Sikha. The Kudah is that since the whole Iyun of Melech HaMashiach, if you machzir as Mishpatei HaTorah, then the Mishpatei HaTorah should be the reality by Yidden and through Yidden and the whole world. So therefore, first you have to have all halachas HaTorah. First you have to know all the halachas HaTorah. All the halachas HaTorah, the Taryag Mitzvahs, all the halachas HaTorah, Beis HaBchira, everything. You have to know all the halachas. And then after you have the halachas, is the bottom line, the Unta Sheshura, that what does the role of Mashiach? The role of Mashiach is to bring to a reality the Mishpatei HaTorah of Kol HaTorah that was in the rest of the Sefer up to Hilchos Malachim, that now Hilchos Malachim, the Melech, is going to make it a reality that the Mishpatei HaTorah should be what actually governs Eretz Yisrael. That's the meaning of Malchus. And that the Kudah is really is in connection with what we mentioned before in the Sikha Chelik Lamed Hey, that there's the two inyan in the Melech HaMashiach, the inyan of he's going to be Rav or Rebbe, that he's Malamed as Torah, to be Malamed Torah, and the inyan of Melech HaMashiach that is going to change the world to govern, to make that the government that actually what the Shlita in the world is going to be according to Chukei HaTorah. I believe in a Ha'ara, and that's Sikha Chelik Lamed Hey. Maybe it's in the Pnim, I don't remember. Of Akapanim, he says, actually, the Iyun of Melech HaMashiach, of Hilchos Tshuva, that's going to be a Dover HaNimshach. That is going to be Malamed Torah. That the Iyun of Mashiach is going to be Malamed Torah, Torah Chadash, the Rebbe emphasized all the years, that we're going to hear Torah Chadash Melech HaMashiach. The Iyun of Mashiach, that he's going to be Mekayf for the whole world, that he's going to change the world, that Iyun of Mashiach. So that in the beginning, he's going to have to change the world. So it'll be a different type of world, and that we have to be different. And Kabbalas Nitchei Yisrael, B'nei Beis Hamikdash, make a mechama against the ummahs around him, and make that Mishpatei HaTorah achoiza the way they were. That is going to be a tkufa as long as it takes for him to change the world. But after that, what's Mashiach going to do? So the Rebbe says, Mashiach, that in if Yilama is Torah, Amala is Deis Hashem, that in Mashiach, the Mashiach was in Hilchos Shuvah, that's going to be a Dover HaNimshach. Now the what's the Bechain? So the first time I came to Montreal, I was about 14 years old, and they had a Masmidim program over here. the whole Masmidim program was 10 Bacharim. And it was in the camp near Label on the Mount Zai. So they had they had a camp. And it was one bunk. The whole Masmidim was one bunk. And it was, I think they made them 770 over there on the second floor over there. Used to be lots of classrooms going all over there, I think. Akaponim, that was it. So I came to Montreal, and the feeling, first of all, first time I got a Shalom Aleichem in the Lubavitcher Shul was here in Montreal. So I traveled all day or all night, I don't remember. Trains, maybe by trains. You ever go on the trains today from the seniors over here, remember? Used to go by train from New York to Montreal along the Hudson River. It's a beautiful view. It's a beautiful experience. And coming to the shul, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem. Everyone's coming to give me Shalom Aleichem. I'm just a bach, 14 years old. Shalom Aleichem. It's a Varankeit. Another thing about Montreal was frum. It was always a frumish stuff. And Priscilla Bachman wanted to learn in yeshiva in Montreal. So in New York, it's geheisten, it's by the Rebbe, the Aldamas, and the Koch is given man Haskalah. Chassidus, Yidid, Chassidus, verstehen Chassidus. Montreal, it's gehet mehr Frumkeit, Aveda, that type of Ruach. So you have to have a bechein. What's the bechein of this whole, of the bechein of Malchus? So the emes is the Rebbe in the Sikha about Mashiach, that each one of us has to do out for us we can. And one of the lines which is really toiveya and demanding from us is, he says, there's the Golus Pnimi. There's a Golus Pnimi, there's a big Golus. Everyone's very, I don't want to talk Lashinus, which, but everyone was very upset, no question about it. He said, if you be serious, and he said, we have to start the Golus HaPnimi, the Golus HaPnimi. That means there's the Gula HaPnimi. If there's a Golus HaPnimi, there's a Gula HaPnimi. So what's Mashiach? According to the Sikhs of the Rebbe, according to the Rambam, Klor Pshat Rambam, that the Mishpat HaTeira, that it's not the Taich, we learn Teira, we learn Chassidus, but it should become a reality. That's Malchus. In Chassidus, that's Malchus. In Nigla Kabbalah's of Malchus Shemai. That it should be a reality by us, Mishpat HaTeira, that we should live by the Teira, because that's the goal of Melech HaMashiach. And what is the Rebbe saying? That we have to start to bring Mashiach, we're bringing Mashiach by us. Hastus says to us that the union of Mashiach by us, that the Malchus that's ruling us and governing our lives is what's stated in the Torah, to live our lives according to the Torah. Chassidim is sicher noch mehr mit Chassidus. Now, when we get Lepoil, the Takona, the Rebbe made a Takona. We listened to the Sikha over here. What caught me, everyone saw the Sikha a million times. Should have seen it. But what caught my attention this time was, the Rebbe says, he used the word Hanoah. The Rambam will have Hanoah, that we're learning his Sefer. That's what he said. He said, Hanoah, you imagine the Hanoah of the Rambam, that the Rambam is in a different place, and we're learning the Rambam, the words of the Rambam, and the Rambam will have Hanoah. So let's imagine what kind of Hanoah the Rebbe has from us doing this takana, which is a very difficult takana to do, and certainly to do properly, which was certainly the kavanah of the Rebbe was not to say Rambam, even though there's mashmos from Amugah to Kesicha. I know some Rabban may be upset if I'm saying this, but I feel Lo Yada Maka Omar is Chitas, it works. But Rambam, I don't know, some say yes, some say no, it's another discussion. But Akaponim, that's not the kavanah. The kavanah also of Chitas is not the kavanah. The kavanah of Chitas is in Limud. Kama v'kam sichas, the Friedrich and the Rebbe, there should be Limud HaTorah, so the plan A of Rabbi Seinu of Chitas was learning verstehen, and plan A of the Rebbe that was learning Rambam on Yediyas HaTorah. One of the things that the Rebbe said about the Rambam was, the first thing he said is, it's Achdus Yisrael, and this brings the Geula. So when all Yidden are Misachid through Torah, when all Yidden are Misachid through Torah, which Torah is Ma'achid them, this is God and under Achdus. Yidden can be Ma'achid in doing Tzedakah, Yidden can be Ma'achid in davening b'tzibur, but Achdus through Torah is God and under Achdus. He explains there. So one of the things that the Rebbe said, the first thing that he said in the Sikh when he started Tzmukah to the Sikhs, that was that Mimachad Yisrael. But then he said there's also Indian of Yediyas HaTorah, Kol HaTorah Kol. And there's a mitzvah, the Alter Rebbe kocht sich in them, and Hilchos Talmud Torah, there's a mitzvah of Yediyas Kol HaTorah Kol. And the Rebbe clearly says even though the Shleimus HaDover of you have Yediyas HaTorah, Kol HaTorah Kol, it's not enough, just the Rambam doesn't read Tami Halacha, and the way it comes up from Alter Rebbe, you have to also understand Tami Halacha, Abrak Aponim, Mizmekayim, and an Indian for Yediyas HaTorah. When we learn the Rambam, we get the Yediyas of Kol HaTorah Kula, and that's the Lashon again and again in the Sikhs. Yediyas Kol HaTorah Kula. So Akaponim, we have to, and each one of us is to work on ourselves, because it's not easy every day to learn 3 prakim, which is also Plan A, the Rebbe's Bakosha. And certainly there's, if you imagine the Hana the Rebbe has. So first of all, I remember a Sikha, the Rebbe said, I think it was Shabbos HaGadol. Before Pesach and before Rosh Hashanah, there was a Michtav Klali. And the Rebbe gave a Michtav Klali. Sometimes there was 2 Michtavim in connection with Alf Nissen, with Pesach, with a message for Pesach or Rosh Hashanah. And the Michtav Klali, the Rebbe he says, wrote it or dictated it, and they were Mana Makoimis. And this Shabbos HaGadol Drasha, the Rebbe said that someone wrote in a kasha. He had a kasha on the Michtav. The Michtav was a Teichen Dik Michtav, it was a Teichen Dik Michtav. And underneath there were Mana Makoimis and Makaitis, and it was based on Nigla, Nister, Chassidus, etc. So the Rebbe tells us by the Farbrengen that someone wrote in a kasha on the Michtav. And he said the kasha. The Rebbe said the following. He said, if the person who wrote the Michtav, who wrote this kasha, would have learned the Michtav or read the Michtav properly, and he would have looked at the Mana Makoimis with Tziyunim underneath of the page, there was Mana Makoimis with Tziyunim. If you would have looked at those Mana Makoimis with Tziyunim, it says over there, Ayin, Medrash, this and this, or the Gemara, this and that, I don't remember the exact Lashon. If you look over there, you'd see over there, Ved Bavar and Dech Shaila. And then the Rebbe explained the Kasha, the Teretz, and so on. But then the Rebbe said a line, which is the Negel in your name. The Rebbe said, he said, B'shas Meshrayt Mana Makoimis, so to Tziyunim, is Hastus Azvas, state ayin, this and this, make Nema Sefer, an ayin, look it up. Bima ayin, and this Maramakim. And then he said, is Ershtins, first of all, if you can be ayin and all the Maramakim, where the Rebbe says ayin, it's sukum in Asach Yediyas. You're going to gain Pashat Yediyas Atayah. And second of all, that Zweiter hab machelik in dein name of Atayah. Or I also remember maybe he said, "Was artir as a zweiter v'tam achelik in deinem datei." What does that mean? That if you look up ayin, because it says in the Sikha, or it says in the letter he was talking about, because the Rebbe said ayin, so then the Rebbe has a chelik in Yulim Datei. Think about what kind of schus you have. We all want to have a connection. Skashis, all is achim. So good. So, for your shleimus, Yediyas HaTorah is the Chayim. To bring Mashiach, the Rebbe said that this is the Indian that's bringing Mashiach. Everything the Rebbe did was to bring Mashiach. And he said this is Achdus Yisrael and Yediyas HaTorah, and this is going to bring Mashiach. In the Sikhas, they don't have to Mashiach. And if you glata makusher, is, first of all, we heard the Rebbe certainly has a noah, and he has a chelik in Yulim the Torah. I'm learning the Rambam because the Rebbe said to learn the Rambam. But he also said I should learn the Rambam, not Stamam the Zogin Rambam. So the more we learn Rambam, the Eichas Halim, the more the Rebbe has a no, and the more the Rebbe has a chelik in Alim in the Torah, and the more we put into it, the more a chelik the Rebbe has in this extra putting into it. So this is the Hasidus, and the bottom line is, as the Rebbe, this is one of the takonis the Rebbe made clearly to bring Mashiach. We will desperately need Mashiach, and it's good for your shleimus, it's good for the Ibishter, it's good for the Rebbe, it's good for all the Yidden. Take it from Yad Mamish.
Rabbi Winner is going to be mamshech of bringing in the next room. Everybody is invited, of course. So I want to invite everybody to the next Siyum Harmbam Mitzvah Hashem in Yerushalayim, Chav Ches Tevis with the Rebbe. It's going to take place in Mitzvah Hashem. Everybody's invited. I want to thank Reb Shmuel Zalmanov for organizing the Siyum, and I want to let everybody know that in the back of the shul there's tzedakah. Everybody should give, so we'll have Torah, Tefillah, tzedakah. And I'd like to thank everybody who had a chelik and who sponsored. And Dunu Rabbi Yisai, Kirabim Hein, V'er Shelefertom. But thank you very much, and it's a big excuse for everybody. Shekoyach. Who wants Maider, call up Maider. Give me a minute for Maider.